Wow. Everyone, allowing people to join before we get started, so settle in, and we'll go over how to use BlueJeans shortly. Welcome, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started. First and foremost, thank you all for joining us at our Fall 2020 Bridges Fellowship Symposium. We do this every semester to highlight and showcase and celebrate all of the progress that our students have made throughout the course of 12 to 13 weeks. And this group is especially special, which I will get into shortly. So again, welcome. My name is Jay Gash. I'm the Youth Programs Manager at Bay Area Video Coalition. I'll dive a little bit deeply into my intro in a couple of slides, but I wanted to, again, say thank you for joining us. We'll still have a few people streaming in slowly but surely, and let us know in the chat if you have any questions or are encountering any issues. So, as I mentioned, I'm Jay Gash, Youth Programs Manager at Bay Area Video Coalition. I've been with this organization for the past 4.5 years, managing the Bridges Fellowship and the Next Gen program. And outside of the work that I do at BAVC directly with youth and young adults, I'm also a filmmaker photographer and an Oakland native, born and raised, and I love to bike and write and read and all the things. And I'm really excited to have you all here. And I'm going to go ahead and pass it on to the rest of the team.
Thanks, Jay. My name is Faye Terry. I'm the Youth Programs Coordinator here at BAVC. I've had the incredible privilege of bearing witness to the journey that this cohort has had together. And you're all going to hear it repeated tonight that this cohort of fellows is particularly unique. The intensity of their connection as a group and in the way that they show up for one another has been kind of a necessary counter narrative to the incredible stress and anxiety and dread that has claimed these past several months. So we respect you all so much, not only as fellows, but more importantly as creators and as people, for the grace, for the vulnerability that you've all shown each other and yourselves throughout the process. So cheers to you all. May you stay in the BAVC fold forever and ever and ever, and read all of my emails for the rest of your lives. Amen. I do also want to give a quick but very important shout out to Jay Gash, our Youth Programs Manager, who has worked tirelessly throughout the semester to be that thread tying this program together. The amount of work that goes into building a program from the ground up and ensuring that every single fellow feels supported and inspired each day is kind of staggering, and Jay has done the work of an entire army to put it all together. So props to you, Jay. The most important thing to Jay has always been that the fellows themselves have a fulfilling, supported experience, and she'll do whatever it takes to make that happen. So cheers also to Jay for being the strongest thread in the box of threads, the thread box. Moving along, I want to introduce our new Director of Youth and Emerging Media Makers, the amazing John Valdez.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. I'm so happy to be here. And I want to tell you a little bit about myself. Yeah, like Faye said, I'm taking on this new position. I'm a longtime member of BAVC, and I've been in a lot of different roles, from participant to media maker to facilitator to board member, and now in this new role. So I'm really happy and excited to be here. Also, congratulations to all of the Bridges participants. I've gotten to see rough cuts and rehearsals, and I just can tell you what an amazing group of people and what an awesome work, so much great work that they've done with such enthusiasm, with such diligence, under such difficult conditions. And yeah, congratulations, of course, to Jay and to Faye and to all of the program staff and instructors for working so hard under these challenging times. I was asked to do a land acknowledgement tonight, and I've done this before for BAVC and for other organizations. And I think it's a really important part of the beginning of any event. And I've really worked to educate myself about this from many different perspectives. First of all, the acknowledgement is to remember the First Nations people, the indigenous people of this land who were here before colonizers and who will be here long after the current political world changes. It reminds us that the cultures and the traditions and the language of the Americas and the importance of knowing and understanding the treaties that were broken and the people who continue to fight for sovereignty and dignity. But we always have to go a little bit further than that. It's not just an acknowledgement of the people and the right to the land and the right to culture and identity. So we always have to ask ourselves, what privileges do we receive from colonization, and what are we doing to change that, and how are we healing this harm? And I believe BAVC, through our mission to really focus on diversity of voices and giving these tools to everybody to tell their stories, is part of this helping heal the harm that has occurred. We prioritize Black and Indigenous and people of color and other underrepresented people to create media in their own voices, telling their stories and telling our stories. And that's what we're doing here tonight. So I honor the people and the land that I am on tonight. I am in Yalapa, Jalisco, Mexico. And the people here are the Nahuatl and the Huichol people who fight every day for their sovereignty. And if you know the land of the people that you are on, if you know where you sit, please feel free to put that in the chat. And also, please feel free to educate yourself about this. And I'll put a link that I have. I have the privilege of introducing our first presenter, our first Bridges Fellow, who is Jackelin Cabrera, who is an Indigenous filmmaker.
Yeah, we're gonna artist. Slides before that, but Dawn, thank you so much for the acknowledgement to the land. And we have, we have a couple more things going, but that was beautifully put. And I so appreciate you being in addition to the team.
Well, thank you, Dawn. Just a couple house rules, best practices of BlueJeans. Before I get started, same as always, please mute your microphones. Use the chat function, keep it alive. We're going to be utilizing and monitoring that throughout the night. So descriptions of the student films will be put in the chat. If you have questions, comments, feedback, affirmations, throw them in the chat. Something else, be mindful of your airtime. Make sure you're not hearing your own voice more than anyone else's. This is a really space to celebrate our fellows and give them the floor. We do, of course, always appreciate words of encouragement and feedback, so don't hold back in the chat. Most importantly, as with every other event we've had together at BAVC virtually, have grace with yourselves and with others. Roll with it. If tech issues arrive, we're all in this funky cyberspace together. Next slide, Jay. BlueJeans. I know it feels like we're cheating on Zoom a bit, but trust me, BlueJeans is so much better when it comes to playback a video. We really wanted to make sure that we could preserve the integrity of the fellows' films and ensure that the sound and the video quality is as high as it could be. So that's why we're on BlueJeans. Luckily, it's a distant cousin of Zoom, so it shares almost all the same features. You're going to notice the chat option if you hover over the top right corner of your screen. You have the option of chatting with the entire group or sending direct messages to just one person. Pretty nifty. Again, keep that chat alive. If you have questions for the fellows when they're presenting or showing their screen films, shoot them the question in the chat. So fellows, be on the lookout in the chat for those questions. If you're trying to find a way to see everybody on your screen, it's not possible. I looked for a long time. You can only see the 9 people in the call who have most recently been talking. So you're not crazy. There's just no way to do that on BlueJeans. And you can direct message me, Faye, if you're having any snafus with tech. Next slide, Jay. We're going to go over the agenda for the evening real quick. Welcome and announcements are underway. We're going to dive right now into the fellow presentations and their films. That's going to take up the bulk of the evening. At the end, we're going to really quickly pass out their virtual certificates for completing the program, do some thank yous, and then a quick wrap up. Passing it over to Jay to shed some light on what we do at BAVC.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Faye. So I'm going to give a little bit of a background around what BAVC does, because Bay Area Video Coalition, we do a lot. So first and foremost, BAVC is a 44-year-old storytelling organization that empowers media makers to develop and share diverse stories that create social change. So I know that that's like a mouthful and very broad, but to go a little bit deeper into that, we have adult ed opportunities. So BAVC offers a variety of adult education classes. So if you want to develop your skills and earn a certificate in video production or audio production, web design and development, motion graphics, or get some job readiness training, BAVC is the best place to learn by doing. And we're really moving into a virtual space. And we're developing a new learning management system where we can make sure that the classes that we offer, which are all now virtual, are really beneficial to those who attend, because we have some really world-renowned teaching artists and professionals working in the industry to facilitate those classes. We also are very, very lucky to have a preservation department. As one of the nation's longest-standing nonprofit video and audio preservation organizations, BAVC remains a leader in the field, developing the highest quality preservation standards and practices while working with individuals and cultural, academic, and media organizations to meet a range of needs for preserving historically and artistically important video and audio materials. So we just recently wrapped up the preservation department wraps up work with the Disney Foundation. So they were digitizing a bunch of VHS tapes, as well as 1-inch and 2-inch reels. So we do a lot of that. So if you ever are like, I have all of these VHS tapes or cassette tapes and I need them digitized, BAVC is the place to go for that opportunity. To add on to what we offer, there's also SF Commons, which is San Francisco's public access television station that's housed at BAVC and has been so since 2009. At SF Commons, any resident or organization can receive free or low-cost training, access to equipment, and studio space to make a show and get their message out there. I don't have the exact stations off the top of my head. I think one of them is 76, but you can also see the live streams online on our website, as well as if you follow BAVC Media on Instagram, they do IG Lives every week, so once a week or every other week. They just produced a video for La Cocina, whose mission is to cultivate low-income food entrepreneurs as they formulate and grow their businesses. And that video can also be found on BAVC Media on their IG page, and soon to be, if not already, on our YouTube page, which is youtube.com/BAVC. One of our other great opportunities that BAVC offers is the National Media Maker Fellowship. It's devoted to supporting documentary filmmakers grappling with critical issues of our time through the use of bold cinematic language and innovative impact strategies. It's an opportunity that some of our fellows, once they've have finished the program, which today is the last day, they can definitely try to apply for that particular fellowship and get their feature film made or a short doc and things like that. And finally, we have youth programs. So as was mentioned before, we have a lot going on behind the scenes, but also like so many great opportunities for young people First and foremost, we have the Next Gen program, which is for 14 to 17-year-olds interested in learning video production, audio production, game code design, and animation. We have the Bridges Fellowship, which is why you're here this evening, which is for 18 to 24-year-olds to learn video production. And I'll go a little bit more deeply into what this year's semester's fellowship looked like. We also have serial storytellers for young people who are interested in writing their first pilot. Uncharted, another opportunity for those young people to document and do video diaries for their experience during the pandemic. And we also have been working closely with our partner organization, Real Stories, that works with young girls and non-binary youth to make films. Lastly, we have a summer program where students can produce films around social justice, climate change, and more. So there's a lot going on behind the scenes that we definitely want to make sure you all know about. You can share with your friends and family and young people that are in your community. So, going to the next slide. This semester's fellowship was very, very unique. We shifted our model on what the fellowship would look like. We used to have just one instructor and perhaps a TA to support students throughout the whole filmmaking process, but this time around we decided to have specific instructors for each aspect of the filmmaking process, and we'll introduce the instructors shortly. But we had a video journalism and documentary filmmaking section, a pre-production lookbook section, a production section where the students learned about cinematography, lighting, audio, camera basics, and then a post-production section, and we'll dive into that a little bit more deeply later on. We've been together for the past 13 weeks, so the fellows who are so wonderful have gotten a lot of training around video production, and once they've done this culminating experience, they'll be receiving a producer-editor certificate as well as a stipend to support their future endeavors. The fellowship also provided career coaching, individual and group coaching, so they had resume workshops, interviewing logistics, and some networking techniques that they learned, and also just goal setting. And with the job search being as it is right now during COVID, just making sure that they're prepared and they have the tools that they need to thrive. A very big, important chunk of this fellowship was community building. I keep saying over and over again, the first day when we had orientation, we were already like a family. We were already open to one another's voice and stories, and just had a really great connection. So we did activities like life mapping, had consistent check-ins. We had rough cut critiques so students could actually give feedback and receive feedback from some of our partners. And they also had the chance to connect with industry professionals. So we just had our career panel a couple of days ago. It doesn't seem like it's been a couple of days, but we're making things work. We also offer film screening. So we partner with CFI, California Film Institute, it's their education team. And it's really just to make sure that we can expose the young people who are in our program to a lot of different opportunities to open their vision to what is out there, which in other ways that might not necessarily be as feasible or accessible. And then lastly, we have had so many mentorship opportunities between the instructors mentoring the students, myself and Faye mentoring the students, as well as the youth mentoring each other, supporting each other, and making space for one another. And lastly, we made sure that they all had access to the tools they needed. So we provided Adobe Creative Suite licenses, laptops if students didn't have them, equipment, especially if students didn't have cameras or access to audio equipment. So we really wanted to make sure that the students who go through this program are equipped with the tools that they need at the end of the day. Now that was a mouthful. We're almost at announcements and getting into the films. So as was mentioned before, this cohort was so special. You all were diverse, resilient, talented, all the things, and really showed up for one another. We talked yesterday in our reflection about how, this is probably the only space that they have been in consistently where people have their videos on. And that's very telling of the times. A lot of people really just aren't ready for the video. They aren't ready to like be on screen. And so I just really want to echo like my appreciation to you all being present, to showing up, and really working through like a really difficult time, externally, internally, but just being able to be here in this fellowship, like it means so, so much. And we'll move into announcements.
I don't want to kill the vibe, but I'll do this really quick. There are actually a couple of really cool things happening at BAVC just around the corner. One of them is Next Gen, which is our younger cohort, 14 to 17-year-olds. Like a younger version of Bridges, if you will, is having their version of this event next Friday. And they've also been working really hard and could use as much support as they can get. So we'd love if you would join us for that next Friday. At the end of my spiel, I'll drop the links to all these things. Next slide, Jay. We also have applications are open for the spring for the Bridges Fellowship, and then also for Next Gen. So Next Gen, Jay mentioned, is 4 tracks. There's a track for young filmmakers, for animators, game code designers, and audio producers. It's 14 to 17-year-olds. And we want all of them. Also ask your filmmaker friends who are ages 18 to 24 to apply for this fellowship for spring semester. Now's the time. It starts in February. I'll drop the links to apply. Last but not least, next slide, Jay. A group of BAVC alumni is hosting San Francisco's first ever completely youth-led film festival, which is really dope. It's on January 15th for youth ages 14 to 21 to submit their films. So they're looking for 1 to 5 minute films that cover a social justice topic or theme. It's called SF Youth Film Uprising Festival. Deadline to apply is December 21st. I'll give you all that info. It's a really amazing opportunity. Bridges, fellows, I encourage you to apply as well. We've talked about this. All right, okay, enough of all of our voices. I know we're all here to see the film, so I'm going to pass it over really quickly to Patty, who's our youth career counselor.
Hi, thanks for that, Faye. I think we are going to start sounding a little bit like a broken record in terms of the spirit and the feeling of this group. I've been working with the Bridges students. I think this is my 3rd or 4th semester. And it truly was a standout cohort and community of people. And I think, well, first of all, just a little bit about my background. I worked at BAVC for almost 7 years doing primarily career coaching and career programming for adults going through a program called Tech SF. And another big part of my job, what I mostly do now, is leadership and team coaching and consulting. And so I work with adults inside organizations. And everyone who I interacted with in this cohort, we're constantly talking about the skills and qualities that make successful humans, successful and productive people out in the world of work, regardless of what kind of organization people work in. And this group has all the things. I think the thing that strikes me in particular is their resilience, the fact that they showed up every time to these career talks after long days of doing school or working or going through their BAVC program classes with smiles on their faces, ready to go with just such positive attitudes. And the other thing is just this kind of sense of kindness and connection and their ability to create community among each other and with me. And I have to say, all those things are things that so many adults I work with who've been in the workforce for 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years, they want those things in themselves. So you all have the qualities that it takes to be successful. And it was just a great privilege and honor to work with you over the last couple months. Now what do I do, Faye?
Patty.
Or Jay?
You're good to go. Thank you so much, Patty, for your support this semester and throughout the past semesters. You are a really valuable resource to all of our fellows, and we so appreciate you.
Thanks, Jay.
Now we're going to get into our instructors. So We had 5 instructors this semester. 4 out of 5 are here with us this evening, but I will briefly go through who these instructors were, and then I'll let them take it away, and then we'll get into presentations. So, be brief. Looking sharp with your Raiders suit, Fernando. So first, we have Fernando Gallo, who was teaching our our documentary filmmaking and video journalism section. Next will be Maria Judice, who taught our pre-production lookbook section. Jamie DeWolf, he taught the production and then a little bit of the post-production side. Vanessa Yee taught more of the post-production side and workflow. And Lydia Greer, who both Vanessa and Lydia are all former instructors, and Fernando for the Bridges Fellowship. Lydia, she taught a little bit around aesthetics of editing and animation. So Fernando, I'll let you take it away.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you so much. Let me first say that this is all highly enjoyable to me because behind the scenes, the students seem kind of nervous, and we got to do this all the time, as teachers. We got to imagine doing this for hours, right? So now you know a little bit of our pain. But very happy to be here sporting my Raiders jacket. I think if you just look at the staff of BAVC, you can get an idea for the kind of eclectic attitude that we have here. BAVC is a really progressive place, and sometimes that can be seen as a dirty word in today's society, but in our workplace, it's a relentlessly positive atmosphere, and I think you can see that. Everybody's really positive, and that rubbed off on the students, I teach at a college. I teach at Contra Costa College, and, I have the same attitude there that I have here, and the buy-in from the students here at BAVC has been really huge. Everybody's on top of it. And, of course, I'm going to say good things about them like everyone else, but let me articulate it a little bit. They told really bold stories, and they weren't afraid to tell those stories. They sought what was true, what they believed in. They fought for their ideas, and they were so supportive of each other. And that's not something, you want that, you hope for that, but, you can lead a horse to water. You give them all the tools and hope. And they took it from there. They were really great with each other, supporting each other, and I think you're going to see that when they show their work. And you can see it in the level of their work. It reflects a positive atmosphere. Okay, that's enough about that. So I told the students about storytelling, journalism. We watched some documentary clips. The Breonna Taylor decision happened during our section, so we took some time to talk about that. Jay led some discussions, and, what was most important is that all the students felt heard and that we created a really great atmosphere for dialogue, and I think we accomplished that. And then a friend of mine, Jordan Nguyen, who covered crime in Stockton during the Great Recession, he came to share, talking about working with communities of color, working with tragedy, and interviewing people to get to what's real in a story, to get to the truth there, but while also, not being sensitive to the fact that you're talking to people dealing with real life tragedies and things like that. So I really enjoyed my time with the cohort. Really proud, excited to see their finished products, and I will pass it on. Maria is next, I believe.
Well, hello everyone. I am very, very excited today because we learned a lot during pre-production, but part of pre-production was also kind of just some basic things around film studies, some ideas around the morals and ethics of filmmaking. And I think one of the most important things was your own filmmaker journey. And so the students did a lot of exercises that were around imagination exercises on what kind of aesthetic and mood and mise-en-scene that they kind of see themselves in. So we had a lot of great discussions, not just on the tediousness of pre-production, which was also quite fun, but also just on, what their impact as a filmmaker and storyteller can be. And I love this slide here because this is one of the first things we did was give us some fucking background music. Ooh, I shouldn't be cursing here, but giving us some background music, which was really helpful in class just to get us all on the same vibe. And none of these are my songs. These are all the student songs because I am not the best at anything outside of the 90s. So it was great just to get on the same page with them. Jay, can you go to the next slide? I would just also say like another thing that we, did in the class was really like talk through a lot of films. So we got to see a lot of shorts, a lot of everything from, I think we went too far ahead, but that's okay. We saw everything from essay films to personal films to experimental films to very traditional docs. And I think that really let the filmmakers in the class really find their own kind of medium to be in within filmmaking. And particularly, a lot of them chose hybrid. And I think that is kind of the future of film. So what you guys are all looking at today is like future filmmakers that have really, created a hybrid for themselves of all the wonderful tools available to them. So, there's a lot of boring stuff. So I love like this piece, which was like how to get to the lookbook, which is like our final, piece for my section was putting together a lookbook. But the most important thing was really finding words and articulating your own vision. And I'm really proud of most of the filmmakers here, because not only did they do that, but I think most people here probably found some kind of transformation for themselves as filmmakers, not just really great communicators, but finding some deep depth understanding of what they wanted to convey. So I think I'm echoing everybody else's. We really have a special bunch here. So yeah, that's my presentation.
Awesome. Thank you, Maria. Just a little bit of lag on the slides. My apologies, Jamie. There we go.
That's okay. I will be pretty quick. Hi, I'm Jamie. I'm a filmmaker and I do all kinds of films, different styles from music videos, documentaries, and as well. And so I didn't really have a lot of great instruction when I was a young filmmaker. I was kind of fumbling in the dark a lot of the way. And there's just such like a monumental amount of information to try to learn how to use these different little machines to try to get your vision onto film. So a lot of what I was trying to do is, in my short amount of time, was pack as much technical information and translate it so it's not intimidating, and instead it is something that you can grab onto and fuse your story and telling into. So we even started on how to make films on your phone. So there's lots of different ways and techniques and apps and things that you can do in order to make it accessible for anybody. So you don't even need a complicated camera. Got into basic shot composition and being able to translate what those mean and what you're looking for on set, or if you were instructing or directing somebody else. We got into the notorious exposure triangle, so they could hopefully make pretty things with any camera at any time, anywhere, and white balance, which is some other dumb camera stuff. But go ahead and go to the next one. And so we would get into pretty specific technical stuff like this, starting, this is something I hammered on a lot, was the exposure triangle, just trying to make sure that they kind of understand how all these things intersect and how you get a different image, and just trying to prepare for all the different kinds of troubling contexts that you can be in when you have too much light, not enough light, outside light, changing light, all these kinds of things as well. You can go to the next slide. And so we went over like lens choices, framing and shot composition, camera movement, frame rates, your story and the style. We talked a little bit about how to set up projects in Premiere, which is kind of its own crazy thing. But what they taught me is their resilience. So it's been very impressive to watch all the students who are in difficult days, like all of us, but they didn't seem dampened by that at all. They're very excited and invested into their stories. Also the power of one. So I think that they were all had moments where they were shown to each other that by committing to your story and your vision, that you have an immense potential to create something very powerful. And a lot of these filmmakers, I think it should also be said, made these movies completely by themselves, which is very unique for any other film course that you're going to see. So it makes their movies like 200 times as magical, because they didn't have, it was all them. They did the whole thing. They edited it, they came with the music, they did the whole thing. So, and also I think that it was great to watch a lot of the love and share of community that they have, and personal is universal, something that I believe in a lot. And I think that we're seeing a new generation that is really focused on that as well. Vision is everything, because that is what matters, is to have something new and to change these paradigms that have existed for far too long. And the future ain't ready, because there's some badasses coming on the way. I don't know if that counts as a curse word, Faye. Badasses, I think we can pass to that. But they're all awesome, and they are very young, and they're hungry, and they're ready to kick some ass. And I feel like they just got a whole lot of awesome tools at their disposal, and I can't wait to be asking them to remember who I am when they accept big old awards and ignore us because they're too famous. Next up, Vanessa.
Thank you so much, Jamie.
Uh-huh.
Hi, everybody. You've all been waiting so patiently. So as the person who probably spent the least amount of class time, I made sure to produce the most amount of slides for my presentation. So if you could go to the next slide. I know that there's been some rumors going around that they should fix things in post, but I'm here to tell you, fix it in pre. That is the main thing that I wanted to communicate to the students. One is like, let's have fun. You know, filmmaking is an enjoyable process. It's a matter of self-expression, which requires a lot of courage, but you should be enjoying yourself along the way. So I just wanted to teach them some fundamentals of post-production processes, who's who, let's get to use some workflows, let's think about it early, especially if you've got sound or graphics or animation, whatever you need, you can start thinking about them in the pre-production process. And I know Maria was already hammering that into them. I have a lot to owe to the instructors before me in kind of setting up some really good fundamentals at the start. So let's see. Oops, yes, have fun, no seriously, post-production is the best part. So if we could go to the next slide. This is an example of some of the brainstorming we did. I showed them what usually is the traditional view of like a post-production timeline or a filmmaking timeline, and then I had them put in their thoughts on where things could actually go. Because, as I mentioned, fix it in pre. If you know that you are going to have animation that it's going to take a while, well, start, doing animatics early. Or you want a specific sound, make sure you are plotting that, or transitions and shots, things like that. Next slide, please. We even got some nerdy talk in. We talked about codecs. We talked about how to do color with in Premiere. We talked a little bit about essential graphics. We talked a little bit about essential sound. So it was a little bit about the overview of all post-production, and underneath that, some of the mechanics, which, I mean, is a lot. Like, let's be real. That is so much to learn in 2 classes, and yet, the fellows were such troopers. If we could go to the next slide, because we don't have to stay on the sandwich with codecs. Oh, that's it. Oh, main takeaway, fix it in pre. So I personally come from a background of reality, and now I'm in tech doing post-production, and that has never changed. All your problems start in pre and production, and then post has to handle the rest, right? So to my fellows, you have been amazing at thinking out the whole process. You're all very still new at this, but you've leaned into that. I love that you were all so brave about taking your personal stories and just transporting them into these beautiful visions. And I hope you know that all of you are still in progress, as is your work. I recently got to have my friend John talk to them about distribution pathways and his journey. And some of those films that he'd been working on had taken 10 years for it to actually get distribution. So just remember that for yourselves. Like, hit the ground running, but remember this is a marathon. And in general, like, I guess the things that you already have as filmmakers that I'm learning from you is, one, the ability to learn. So one thing that I think you all gave to me was your trust as students. I only came for 2 classes, and yet I feel like you were able to share and be vulnerable about your stories, which was wonderful. And the ability to learn as a filmmaker is going to be one of your biggest assets, is to take everything, the failures and the successes, and translate them to the next thing. The second thing was that you were collaborative, even in the ways that you were giving feedback to each other. You were supportive in the chat, and I didn't get to witness all of that, but I got to hear at least, the rumors. So that's only going to help you in the very end, even with feedback, right? We talked a lot about feedback. And as I mentioned, that courage that you're all, doing. And I think you'll hear some stories where people are like, I almost chickened out. I didn't do this. I wasn't going to do this, but they turned a no into a yes for themselves. And here they are at the end of this particular phase of the journey. But remember, fix it and pray. That's it for me.
Thanks so much, Vanessa. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So the time has almost come. This is your time, Dawn, if you're ready to introduce our first fellow.
Hi, yes, I am. Thank you. I got very excited, and I forgot that there was a lot of other stuff that needed to get done. I have the privilege of introducing our first presenter, Jackelin Cabrera, who is an Indigenous filmmaker and artist, and she's going to share a little bit about her project, which is personal and poignant, and I'm really proud to be the person to introduce her. Thanks, everybody, for being here, and thank you, Jackelin, for sharing your story.
Okay. Thank you, Dawn, for the wonderful land acknowledgement. Piali, so hi, everyone. Thank you for showing up and supporting all of us at this point of our journey. And thank you to all the amazing people who were along for the ride. That is my dog also, by the way. Thanks, Jay, for the next slide. So a few things about me. I suck at being vulnerable. Movies are the best safe space, and being in front of the camera alone makes me want to throw myself into a pit, and not one of the fun ones. And all these facts were challenged in the 13 weeks here at BAVC. Could I have the next slide? So at the end of all this, I made a film about a very vulnerable topic. I put myself in front of the camera, and I sat with generational trauma. So the short you're about to see is titled Nisutawat, which is tired in the language Nahuatl. I challenged myself to face trauma that's been caused since the inception of colonization. I focused on how it feels to be a detribalized person, on wanting to better connect with my culture but constantly finding fragments and heartache. So this is my attempt to recreate this feeling of disconnection and confusion with all of you.
No hubo memoria bonita en el país durante mi crecida, hasta la edad de los 18 años. Nada. Las navidades uno piensa que están bonitas, pero ya uno al ponerse a pensar, pues no. Eran un poco tristes. Así es que durante toda esa guerra, pues no. Pura tragedia, puro de todo. Nada bueno. Nunca salíamos a los parques, nunca salíamos a lugares bonitos donde hubieran árboles, ni ríos, ni nada. Entonces, no Donde vivía mi abuelita, allí serían árboles, serían vegetales, pero me gustaba mucho. Eso me gustaba a mí. La naturaleza, el que siempre practiquito, como y todo. Nunca lo tuvimos cuando estábamos pequeños. Y ahora, entonces, cuando salíamos donde vivía mi abuelita, allí serían árboles, serían vegetales, pero me gustaba mucho. Eso me gustaba a mí. La naturaleza, el que siempre practiquito, como y todo. Nunca lo tuvimos cuando estábamos pequeños.
Woo! Go ahead and unmute yourselves to give Jackelin a round of applause.
Hey, Jackie!
Thank you. Right, thank you so much, Tlasokamati, for watching this. And the next fellow up is Sonemani.
It's actually
Sorry,
CJ.
CJ. My bad. I'm so sorry, CJ.
All good. That work was really, really amazing. Like, thank you for sharing your art with us, Jackelin. So I'm CJ, everybody. My pronouns are she and they, and I'm also known as Madam CJ III. That is my creative name that I've adopted for the time being. I feel really, really honored to be a BAVC fellow and to have met all these beautiful souls. And been a part of this journey. I put some goat footage on there because I really want to be the goat at especially post-production, like film editing, and so it's been an honor to just learn a lot of different styles and techniques through this fellowship. A little bit about me: I recently just graduated, got a degree in sociology from SDSU, and at the same time, through my experiences there, learned that I am a storyteller, and I very much want to continue to meet people and co-create stories with them that provide spaces for resistance and healing and self-expression across a whole vast variety of dimensions. So it was for that reason that I ended up on deciding to create this short film, Becoming Friends with Trees. It is the first time that I've really publicly shared any amount of my own poetry, but also decided to take a deep dive into the concept of self-love and understand myself as an extension of the universe. So that has been a very powerful experience for sure. I'm a little bit nervous, but still excited to let you all know about some of the things that I was able to learn through the fellowship, which are on the next slide. So before I joined the BAVC family, my one and only film teacher was Spike Lee, and just watching his shows and movies and things like that was how I taught myself any sort of style that I may want to use in my processes. But I was able to meet all these amazing people and gain so many teachers in the industry that taught me fantastic things, from understanding all of the energy and pre-production detail that goes into a lookbook to, beginning to understand the different phases of producing a film and how they all come together, as well as utilizing After Effects and color theories and aesthetics of editing to begin to weave together a little bit of a video collage for what I want to share with you all today. I was also able to gain some experience with a lot of different types of equipment, like the tablet at the bottom right corner of the screen there. And although there's definitely a learning curve in the film industry, I just feel very honored to have been a part of this fellowship, because at the end of the day, I was able to come out as a stronger artist who knows more about themselves and what it takes for them to self-express. And that takes me to my final slide, which is probably the most important lesson that I was able to gain from this fellowship, which was that I should bring my whole self to any piece of art that I want to share with the world. I put on the slide a few of my favorite films and movies of all time, and then through this fellowship, I began to understand them in a completely new light, and how much the filmmakers and the teams behind these works probably had to bring their whole selves for it to have impacted me as much as it did. And I think that through these past 13 weeks and all of the struggles that come with it, I've definitely learned that how important it is to bring everything that you are into any of your work. So with all of that in mind, thank you all for being here. And this is my short film, Becoming Friends with Trees. Here, my fellow human is your short guide to water and to grow the most authentic friendship with the tallest tree you've ever wanted to be. You must be willing to look crazy enough to talk to that tree. This usually requires some months of isolation from self-centered human beings. Ground yourself in awareness of this tree. Share in its silence. Remember, a quiet we experience among the trees provides healing, but no protection from the hurricane of humanity. Always, always, always give thanks for its presence. Offer every drop of your everlasting reverence as reparations for all the blank pages you filled with your own self-centeredness. To be fair, I'll never call this process easy. For me, there are days that become weeks where just getting up out of bed feels like the hardest task. And while I lie there, my mind gets selectively reflective on the ways that I'm messed up. And I know I'm not the only one.
Nobody, no man and no woman, is precisely what they think they are. Love is where you find it. And you don't know where it will carry you. And it is a terrifying thing, love. It is the only human possibility, but it's terrifying.
I am not perfect. I am not always happy, not always where I need to be, but I am me. I am just as much a part of the universe as the tallest tree. I am life. I am struggle and light, shining through the brokenness. I am getting up out of bed when I know I don't want to. I am not forgetting where I come from, and I am never getting where I want to go. And there's something inside me that could never die. Something that always reminds me that my search for love actually ends inside. Deeper than I ever could think, lies the truth in this journey. Becoming friends with trees can look very much like me watering my own destiny.
Give a round of applause to Steve.
Wow. Woo! So much. Like, I really appreciate all the love. It was definitely a lot to balance mental health with creating during this time. And so I appreciate all the love. Thank you. And so then without further ado, it is my very honor to introduce the next fellow whose art we will be experiencing, a truly amazing artist and thinker, Jaida Da Luz. Welcome.
Thank you, CJ. That was great. Thank you for sharing. All right, so hi everyone. I'm Jaida Da Luz, and I go by she and her. Yeah, so I'm currently in San Francisco, and one fun fact about me is that recently I've been getting into photography and editing photos specifically on iPhones. And so the film that I will be sharing with you was also all shot on my iPhone. And this fall quarter, I recently started my first year at Santa Clara University, where I'm currently studying marketing business. And the reason I joined the Bridges Fellowship was because I wanted to gain professional development, and I also wanted to work with creative people. And most importantly, I wanted to learn how to effectively create powerful pieces of content or content that could help spread messages and impact the world. Next slide, please. So as a first-time filmmaker, I haven't had any experience creating my own content, so this was all new to me. And usually I would just take pre-recorded videos and combine them in iMovie to create a video. But at BAVC, I learned a lot from all of the instructors, including how to use Adobe Creative Cloud, and also a whole bunch of technical filming terms that I didn't even know existed. And in the end, this whole program taught me how to combine the ideas of videography and marketing to tell stories and films that can truly stand out and help make a change. Next slide. Yeah, so through all like the career panels and film directors that I've met, I've realized that many of them have gone through the same path that I'm going through right now. And I definitely feel better about where I'm heading in the future in terms of what I'm studying and my creative vision and what I want to do. And the biggest thing I learned was to just create, because you never know what is going to come out with what you create. And if it wasn't for this program, I don't think I would have created anything at all while I was at home. So I'm very thankful for that. And I also met a whole bunch of other creative artists in this cohort who I've connected with and just learned a lot from during this semester. So my film is called TBD, and it's about overthinking. And the reason why I chose to make my film about overthinking was because when I was trying to find a topic about what to create my project about, I had so many ideas, but it was hard for me to decide what I wanted to do. And when I finally found a topic, I realized, or I would think too much about how I would be able to do it, and it was just a lot for me. So I thought and realized that I should just create a film about what I was doing, which was overthinking. And so I'm an overthinker, and I try my best to share with you guys what goes in my head when I overthink. So I hope everyone enjoys it.
You are stuck. Your head aches. Breathe in then breathe out. What's on your mind now? I overthink because I have a fear of the unknown. How can you make a decision knowing that your choice can affect your whole future? There's so much pressure. Take your time. What's the rush? I just want my life to be perfect. My mind sometimes feels like it's moving 1,000 miles. And when my mind finally slows down, I'm hit with another decision. Look at this tree. Isn't it beautiful? Oh no. But which way do I go? Left or right? You are overthinking this. Is it stress or anxiety? My head aches. My mind is tired from moving so fast and going nowhere. I feel stuck. My mind is like a circuit that's filled with never-ending thoughts. A never-ending light. Is this normal? Yes, I'm aware that I'm overthinking, but I can't stop it. I made it this far, and I don't want to get dragged back down. Take a deep breath. I will find an exit. This will all be over soon. Why am I so regretful? Walking on this bumpy path, the sound of my fast heartbeat breathing, my cold hands and heavy feet, I still feel it. Sometimes I wish I can be calm, and I want to feel mindless. Live in the moment and trust the process, I always tell myself. Why do I still think so much about my future? Is that a normal thing? Overthinking puts you on pause. As long as you're overthinking, you're unlikely to find a solution. It robs you from your mental resources, and it leaves you feeling exhausted and feeling worse than before you started. I want you to take deep breaths. Practice your breathing. Fill your lungs up. Don't let your mind take over.
Oh, 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 oh.
You did it! That was sick! Hell
Thank
yeah.
you. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. I've never presented something I've created like that in such a big group, so thank you for letting me share that with all of you guys. Now, I would gladly like to introduce the next artist, who is Nancy Zarco.
Hi everybody, my name is Nancy Zarco. I, however, had what we call in Mexico a tocaya during this program, therefore I chose to be referred to as Zarco. And I am a movie enthusiast who was taught and given the tools to create her own. For me, movies have been an escape. They are a tool that you can use to make people feel emotions, and they always took me to my happy place. And that brings me to my next slide. Opportunity. Like I mentioned, I've always loved movies, so I always wanted to learn the actual theory behind making them, because it's very different to make home movies versus actually knowing what you're doing. So I went on the internet, I googled, and BAVC came up, and I applied, and thankfully I was given the opportunity to learn so much. The next slide, please. I learned about media, what I was talking about. I learned about Adobe Premiere Pro, about how to use the camera, about audio, but I also learned more things than I thought I would. I learned about culture. I learned about what's going on in the world. We discussed what was going on in the world, and we heard everybody's opinions, and we spoke our own. We learned about ourselves and our capabilities and how to grow. So without further ado, I want to present my short film. It's a story about a girl named Carla, who's a very dear friend of mine. I believe her story is a bold one. I think she's a very strong person, and I wanted to share that with you. So I hope you enjoy it.
Estoy solo, estoy solo.
Hola, mi nombre es Carla Alejandría Ruiz Esparza Núñez. Yo también soy coordinadora y fundadora del colectivo para artistas zacatecanos y de difusión cultural Talent Was. Ya tenemos un año trabajando en esto. Yo más que nada pues me dedico, es una organización sin fines de lucro. Yo me dedico a, ahora sí que, ayudarles a los artistas a encontrar medios para que expongan su arte, para que se den a conocer. También soy coreógrafa de ritmos urbanos. Quiero decir, a veces como que me da un poquito de miedo hablar de esta parte de que soy coreógrafa, porque creo que todo mi conocimiento ha sido meramente empírico. Siempre me gustó el baile, aunque tratase yo de buscar lugares donde se me formara profesionalmente, nunca pude costeármelo. Y aparte, cuando era más joven, a mi papá nunca le gustó que yo hiciera algo lúdico. Entonces era como nada de deporte, nada de baile, nada de arte. Y eso para mí era como que me reprimía bastante, y de hecho creo que por eso se generaron muchos problemas de inseguridad por parte mía, al ver que no había esa aceptación ni apoyo por parte de mi familia, hasta que empecé a bailar hace aproximadamente unos 8 años, y de hecho es muy jocosa e interesante esta historia, porque yo empecé bailando K-pop. Entonces mi papá era desde que no me gusta que hagas esto, no me gusta que hagas lo otro, pero yo siempre sentí que el baile iba a ser algo muy importante para mí, y por eso no lo dejé como otros proyectos que dejé cuando estaba más pequeña. Para este tiempo, más o menos al siguiente año, fallece mi hermano, y fue como que algo muy difícil para mí, porque pues nada más nos llevamos 9 meses de diferencia y éramos muy apegados. Él siempre me apoyó mucho con lo del baile, siempre me apoyó mucho como persona, de que expláyate, no quieras ser como las demás personas porque tú no eres como las demás personas, no te agüites si te hacen bullying en la escuela, tipo cosas así. Entonces para mí cuando él se fue como que... Entonces dije, ¿qué es lo que tengo que hacer? Aquí es donde tuve que tomar una decisión muy fuerte en mi vida, de decir, o continúo haciendo lo que quiero, como puedo, con las cosas que tengo, o de plano me dejo caer y me voy junto con mi hermano. O sea, porque yo no quería vivir una vida sin mi hermano. Entonces lo medité bastante durante muchos días y dije, bueno, vamos a hacer esto. Vamos a tratar de vivir de la manera que podamos y tratar de poder hacer las cosas que él ya no tuvo oportunidad de hacer.
El tiempo se acabó. El tiempo se acabó. Mi calma se agotó, el fuego se apagó, no me busques ya. Un fantasma soy, mi cuerpo ya no siente nada. Mi calma se agotó, el fuego se apagó, no me busques ya. Un fantasma soy, mi cuerpo ya no siente nada.
Y el baile para mí fue como un canal para resolver los problemas que yo traía internamente. Cuando yo bailo y ustedes me ven, yo les estoy mostrando la mejor cara de mí. Les estoy mostrando lo que yo quiero que ustedes vean de mí. Lo que para ustedes ven en 3 minutos, para mí significa una historia. Para mí significa una experiencia totalmente diferente que me llena. Es alguna actividad que me llena como persona, que me enorgullece. Y cada vez que me pongo en el escenario y bailo, Es como si todo el mundo se fuera, se apagara. No hay miedo porque solamente siento que estoy yo sola en el mundo. Cuando bailas no hay hambre, cuando bailas no hay pobreza, cuando bailas no hay preocupaciones, no hay nada más que tú y el tiempo y la música, es todo lo que importa. Entonces creo que esa es la razón por la que seguí bailando y por la que sigo bailando, porque me ayuda a lidiar muchísimo con mis problemas. Y no solamente eso, creo que el baile me ha abierto muchísimas puertas que yo nunca creí que lo iba a hacer. He conocido personas increíbles gracias a ellos y no pienso dejar de bailar en un tiempo. No es como que yo diga, ay, como que ya llegué a cierto límite con esto. No, yo pienso seguir bailando durante mucho tiempo y me ha ayudado también mucho a conocerme como mujer, a aceptar que la feminidad está bien, que la sensualidad está bien, que sin importar a veces como el concepto que tenga la sociedad de que si te vistes de esta manera o bailas de esta manera, eres una persona fácil. Esto son solamente concepciones mal creadas, sin agredir a terceros, sin nada. Yo por eso me he concentrado muchísimo en esta parte de apoyar a los demás, porque yo algún día quiero ser la persona que a mí me hubiera gustado tener cuando estaba pequeña, que a mí me hubiera gustado tener cuando quería hacer las cosas bien. Quiero ser esa persona que te motiva. A mí ahorita lo único que me preocupa es seguir apoyando a los demás y crear una comunidad unida para todos. Y mucha gente me dice, eres muy optimista, eres muy irreal. Y la verdad es que a mí la realidad me ha golpeado mucho durante mucho tiempo. Y sé que si me sigo concentrando en lo que es real, no habría necesidad de seguir viviendo. Entonces necesito pensar positivo, necesito pensar que puedo hacer un cambio. Y al menos si me muero me voy a morir así, pensando bien, pensando tranquila. Entonces yo agradezco muchísimo al baile porque el baile y mi hermano me rescataron del abismo. Y a pesar de que mi hermano no esté aquí, me enseñó a vivir, me enseñó el verdadero significado de la vida. Y el baile me ha ayudado a transmitir esa motivación hacia los demás. Así que muchísimas gracias por todo.
Son las 3 de la mañana.
Oh, thank you guys so much. And now I have the pleasure of presenting my tocaya, Nancy.
Well, hello everyone. I am Nancy, Nguyen, and Nancy Nguyen. But y'all can call me Nance just so y'all don't get a little mixed up, you know. Next slide, please. So about me, I am a fourth year at San Francisco State University. I'm double majoring. I recently got approved to double majoring in film and Asian American studies. So I'm all about Asian American representation through film. After I graduate in 2022, I'll be taking a gap year and then get a certificate in marketing at Berkeley City College, specifically in social media. And I will be a TA for one of my classes in the spring semester. So I'm excited about that. Next slide, please. So my project is a short documentary story of my stepdad, who experienced being in refugee camp in Malaysia. I got some clarity from him actually. He was in Malaysia during the Vietnam War, and how he survived through all of that. So I appreciate my stepdad for everything. He's the best role model, definitely. Next slide, please. What BAVC has taught me is definitely understanding of being a storyteller. Definitely that includes like what I really want to tell, what I want to invest in and be invested in. The process of filmmaking, like learning from pre-production, production to post-production, and the value of collaborating with feedback. That one was definitely the biggest thing I had to learn throughout this whole process of 13 weeks. I want to give a shout out to all the cohorts, all the talented filmmakers during this time. Also, I want to give a shout out to Vanessa for last night for helping me edit it and exporting it by experiment by 10:15 p.m. So I'm going to give her a shout out to that. Also for giving me motivation to do it. So thank you, Vanessa and Jay, for that. Y'all are amazing. Yeah, so this film will be called Unlock the Past. And I hope y'all enjoy.
A boat, a flag, an arm waving. A crowd gathers along the beach. This is the east coast of Malaysia.
Embassy officials feared the crowd might again storm the gate, so they called in Marine reinforcements. Tension mounted as more and more Americans arrived in the compound and began the nerve-wracking wait for a wedding.
Haven't been accepted by other countries.
The United States will take all.
Yes.
You really believe that?
I hope.
It's my stepdad. Because he survived of being in refugee camp for 4 years in Malaysia. So you stay in Malaysia with your family for 4 years?
No, it's only me.
It was you?
Oh, and me and my sister, two of my sisters.
Oh my gosh.
Two of my sisters. Yeah, one is over there in, I think one of them sisters you talked to. I think you talked to them twice already. You probably don't remember. Yeah, they talked to you twice.
Was it hard?
Oh yeah, it was hard. It's like, it's kind of hard, but it's kind of like paradise. I mean, you know, I mean, it was like, the police over there, the Malaysian police, I was in the middle of an island, nowhere in the middle of the sea. They have the island that they put us in there, in the middle of, I think they away from them, the pirates,
You saw the pirate? Yeah, you saw the pirate?
Yeah.
How many pirates did you see?
They got like 3 or 4 ships that chasing us too.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, 3 or 4 ships.
That's
they
crazy.
chasing us.
That's insane. That's insane. What were you scared for your life too?
No, not really, because you know what? In our ship we got a gun. We got a gun and I have a 2 grenade. Hey, I have a 2 grenade in my hand too. Because the captain of the ship gave it to me and said, man, look here. Because back then when I was in Vietnam, I trained in high school in Vietnam. They make you training ready for military.
Oh.
In high school in Vietnam, back up high school in Vietnam, I graduated high school in Vietnam, everything too. I was in college in Vietnam too.
Wow.
Yeah, I was in college to study how to navigate the ship.
Wow, you were prepared.
Yeah.
Role model I've ever had in my entire life. Like, he has been like the best role model I've ever had. You know, and I appreciate him more than anything. And I truly love my stepdad. Like, y'all seriously have no idea how much I love my stepdad. Like, I really do love my stepdad. Like, you know, I mean, I love my stepdad more than anything, and he has, you know, has helped me through all of this, years, and always put a smile on my face and never let me down, and, oh my gosh, last month, first week of November, I actually came out to my stepdad on the phone. Whew! It was, really, like, a victory for me and for him too, because for him to accept me and never see me differently, still see me as his daughter, is like the best warming feeling I can never ask for. And so when I came out to him as bi, I'm like already getting, oh my gosh, I'm already getting emotional talking about it. But like, the fact that like he still accepts me is incredible. And so I'm glad that, you know, hearing his story and me coming out to him has literally even brought us closer together. He's out there and survivors, I am standing on your shoulder. I am with you.
Yes.
Wow. Ooh, let's just soak in for a little second. But thank y'all for watching. I hope y'all enjoy it. I am definitely honored to introduce them, the talented artist and filmmaker. I would like to introduce to Sonemani.
Thank you for that warm introduction, and thank you for being so vulnerable with us. My name is Sonemani. My pronouns are they, them. Next slide, please. I also went to SF State, and that's actually a big reason why I made this film, is just to really highlight stories from like the queer and trans color and the self-sacrifices that we decided to make, go through college for this opportunity, and everything that comes with it. Next slide, please. And some of the things that I learned at BAVC is I really just appreciate this opportunity. The fact that it was online actually helped me, and also being able to be in community artists. That's my Instagram handle if y'all want to be friends in this virtual realm. I hope y'all like the film.
I grew up with people saying that college is the best years I'll ever have. I didn't realize what a privileged perspective that actually was. I'm grateful, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't the carefree experience I thought it would be.
When I got to SF State, I was waitlisted for housing, and that was kind of like a common thread throughout my time here. I got here in fall 2017, and pretty much every semester I had an issue with housing. I had to take class for 9 hours a day one semester, which is just really difficult for me, like health-wise. So like I could go to the class, like 5 classes for 9 hours in one day, but the next day I was going to be home with a migraine.
Hi, I'm Amanda Levitt. My pronouns are she, they, and he, and my major is business accounting.
I'm Tiana Kendrick. I use she, her pronouns, and my major at SF State was health education with a minor in anthropology.
The reality is that it shouldn't be this inaccessible to graduate. In a capitalistic-centered world, not getting a degree could mean never getting a job that pays you enough to live. This journey alone shows that you cannot meet your basic needs and go to college for many queer and trans people of color. With the lack of family support and not knowing how to navigate college, who can you turn to?
When I came out to my parents as queer, I fully expected them actually to just like kick me out, honestly. But thankfully they didn't, and they have been financially supporting me since then, and that has been amazing and awesome. But with the money that they have been supporting me with also comes like them always constantly making suggestions about how I could like go back to not being gay somehow, because I used to be very internalized homophobia. I had a lot of internalized homophobia and just like really wanted to like perform femininity.
What's a bigger priority? A future you may not live to see, with rising violence against our queer community, specifically Black and brown trans women, whose average life expectancy is 35 years old? And does that not just feed into a systematic means of oppression to gatekeep the majority of living wage jobs with benefits such as therapy and life-saving gender affirmation surgery to those with degrees and proximity to resources? Then at the end, we are rewarded, but why are we rewarded for such egregious self-sacrifice? Compromise is one thing, but I should not have to be asked to compromise my peace of mind.
I personally felt like there was not much of a choice actually for I need to get this degree in order to get a good job, in order to meet all my basic needs. And so I feel like personally for me it was probably a fear-based decision, and out of like scarcity, like I was like, oh, like if I am not able to get this degree and I'm not able to get a really good job, then where am I gonna go?
Transferred from junior college, thinking that I had an idea about what it was gonna be like coming out here. Absolutely didn't. Housing was horrible. I almost dropped out. Thing that kept me in was just like really good people on campus. I had like friends that would let me stay with them while I waited for housing. I worked with like faculty that were really helpful. They got me like in contact with the Dean on Call program, which ended up getting me into housing, so I didn't have to drop out. And I guess just I really wanted to finish, because it seemed to me for a long time that like college was something that I just like was never gonna get done with. So it's just the drive of like wanting to push through and finish versus like giving up in a way, which like I wouldn't judge anybody for doing because it's really difficult. Just it seems a lot easier, like life seems much easier now than it did before. This college was just really unpredictable, like especially with scheduling, like having a stable schedule I think at the end of this is like really worth it.
Most teachers not understanding the burden through their privilege. This C is all I could give, but is not what I am worth.
Finishing my degree with an internship that sometimes had me working like 9 to like 13 hours a day. My mental health was really bad. My anxiety was like really horrible. I did start seeing a psychiatrist, go on medication to skip through the semester, and when I brought that up, it was kind of like, well, that sucks, but we can't do anything to change the curriculum. So it's very much like either you get in line and you do it, or you don't and you fail.
They'll coin you as exceptional as an excuse for their negligence. Congratulations as they deny your FAFSA. I'm so proud as they know you have nowhere to go. Selling me security within a 4-year grasp. Did they believe in me or did they taunt me? Fear of failure alone was enough to propel me forward. Through unstable housing, microaggressions, sharing a room with 2 others, a couch, a closet, whatever works. To study biochem till 3 a.m. for a C with a teacher who didn't give a damn about me passing. To mix my worth and ambition with average. I think, what choice did I have? What does a queer kid with no home to go back to do? We push forward. We self-sacrifice to be exceptional. The best years of my life, huh? Well, I did learn that my greatest feats cannot be achieved alone. This long journey showed me chosen family, showed me what affirming love could do in a time I was so unaware of who I was, so focused on a goal that wasn't even my own. I believe in queer joy. So to the queer youth of color of the future, may you know that this journey is a wild one. But know that love is at an abundance, and that I love you, deeply and simply, for all that you are. May you know inner peace in a world that tries to deny our existence. You can never fail because you were born a gift. You've already succeeded. The rest is extra.
Oh my God.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you all watching that. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce the next cohort member, On.
Hello everyone, my name is An Lei and I hope everyone's doing well today. I am a storyteller and artist based in the Bay Area and I'm pursuing a bachelor's degree at San Jose State University in film production. I have worked in different productions, both professional and student work, but in every kind of production I find whatever way I can to improve myself and also help others along the way. My main goal in storytelling is to tell stories that heal the wounds of society. Next slide, please. The short film that I'll be sharing today is called Palabras de la Radio. It follows a young woman who relieves her mind at the water refuge to play her favorite song on the radio. But the issue at hand is that on the radio there are some obstructive noise that reflects on her mentality as she has formerly faced domestic abuse in her home. I hope that through this visual poetry, not only will you get to see the kind of mindset that she lives upon, but also it will prove some kind of solutions and the changes that her character will face in the future. Next slide, please. Some things I've learned through the Bay Area Video Coalition is how to manipulate objects to create the intended sound. The film that you'll be seeing today uses sound that you may not anticipate it to be in that way. So I learned very well from Vanessa on her use of different layered sounds, which allowed me to create this realistic approach to this photographic collage. And secondly, I learned about the effective pitching, where the lookbook allows us to explore the film's intentions and also the themes that matter into the story we want to tell. Thank you to Maria for that. Lastly, the Bay Area Video Coalition, the team, and also the fellow cohorts have allowed me to strengthen my confidence in filmmaking once again and allowed me to incorporate my understandings of filmmaking to assist their projects. So I thank you for allowing me to participate in those matters. Next slide, please. And lastly, time management has been one of the struggles that I have attained through, not just through a coalition, but also through my classes. I sometimes chew more than I should be chewing, but with the assistance I've received from my fellow instructors, my colleagues, and everyone, this has allowed me to grow out of this struggle. And as I'm still learning through the time management issue, I was able to see what I can achieve with this little amount of time that I have here in the coalition. So thank you once again, and I will be introducing you to my film, so I hope you enjoy it.
Los pensamientos que obstruyen mi mente, el ruido las ondas que tocan el pasto, el espejo, las voces chisporrotean entre los mundos, agua y aire. Mi amado, ahora roto y golpeado en la superficie. Una sed una vez saciada. El hedor de mis pies desata el alma muerta y sobre, deseando tener alas para volar. Un momento, una vez revivido, con la apariencia de cosas salvajes. El anhelo del verdadero silencio es inalcanzable. Los errores son irreversibles. Las cicatrices de la historia no se pueden reemplazar, porque cada marca es un recuerdo atrapado en el tiempo. Un romance expandido en un espejismo. Un sueño envenenado por el sabor de la verdad. Las hojas acunan mi corazón en los vientos susurrantes. Ahí dejo las últimas palabras de la radio y se descompone.
tuning in to check out my film. I'm glad that you all attended it. I would like to round up the next runner-up, Nathan, who is a wonderful filmmaker and also storyteller, and I can't wait to have you all check out his work.
All right, everyone. Hello. How's everybody doing tonight? My name's Nathan. Thank you, On, for showing us your dazzling cinematography. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm a BAVC fellow for fall 2020. So, BAVC has taught me how to channel my voice as a minority and use it within my art to share my experiences, how to effectively give feedback, what hard/soft skills are, and hotkeys in Premiere Pro. But in all honesty, BAVC is a wonderful program, and it allows people like me to share my experiences and feel validated. So thank you all, and love to all of you. So, my project this semester is called White Friends. It's a film that highlights my own personal experiences of alienation among my friends. Within this experimental piece, I allude to microaggressions, the conflict of identity, and the concept of white-owned spaces. But furthermore, this piece explores the concepts of masculinity through male vulnerability. And I hope you enjoy.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system. 650922718 is not available. At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hey, and I just wanted to know, well, I want you to know that I get why you're uncomfortable with being in my movie, and how you don't want to be in it. It's about you guys and how I feel uncomfortable with what we all say. But you said that I could tell you anything, and here's me saying that. I'm so hurt that I allowed myself to be vulnerable and share my feelings about how I felt as a minority in this group. We're guys, and we don't really talk about our feelings. Yeah. I love you guys. You guys are my brothers, and we've been through so much together. And I'm sorry for lying to you about the nature of my film, but this environment where we don't talk about things that bother us, and we choose to make ignorant jokes within these closed doors, facilitates a kind of environment. And it's one where I can't talk about how the things that you guys say hurt me and how they make me feel different and alone. And I felt like I had to lie to you guys to get you in the movie because I couldn't be honest with myself. These were feelings that I sat on for years that bubbled up. And I know that if I recorded you guys saying these things, not only would it speak my truth, but it would hold you accountable for the way that you hurt me. And I was about to risk your professional and personal reputation. But that's not fair to you because you weren't aware that you were making me feel these things in the first place. But I can't help but feel justified and angry in my actions to lie because of the comments that have been said within this space. I sat on these feelings for years, pushing them subconsciously so that I won't have to deal with them? How can I, as a minority, explain how I feel different when all we do is make jokes about people who are different from us? And I know guys said that you guys will never understand. And I said that you'll never know. But if you want to know what I feel, it's like wanting to be an actor as a kid, then looking up on Google what a lead actor looks like in a movie or a TV show, and none of them look like you. And I know that there's movies like Crazy Rich Asians or Bruce Lee or whatever, but I'm me. I want to be Ryan Gosling and Drive or some shit. It's like looking at my eyes, skin, or hair, and realizing that I don't look like what a magazine says is attractive. It's being told stuff like, are those prescription sunglasses? Because your eyes look squinty behind them. Or walking into a room and you're the only brown person, and having everyone look at you, and having that thought that creeps up in the back of your mind that people would act differently if you weren't in the room. Or growing up in a town, in school, where everyone you've ever known is white, and having to blend in or risk sticking out. And the worst part is that I told all of you, and I left myself vulnerable, and now everything feels different. And I wish I never told you because I don't want you to feel the uncomfortable conflict. And I'm sorry for all of that. And I know that I've been distant, but yeah. Call me back when you have a chance.
Damn.
All right. Thank you everybody so much for watching. It is with my pleasure to introduce my good friend, the amazing Sadiq Norris.
Bruh. I'm still kind of shook up by that. I mean, that's like the third, fourth time I've watched that piece, and it's brilliant. Thank you for sharing that with us, and thank you to everybody who's gone before and shared their art. You guys hear that, or am I tripping? You hear that music? Is that SZA?
I love that version of that song. It's coming from you.
Nah, that's not me. Oh, okay, it's off now. Anyway, my name is Sadiq Norris. My pronouns are he, him. Next slide, please. So a little bit about me. I'm a filmmaker born and raised in the Bay Area. And a little bit about my journey, how I got into this program. A few months ago, I was working at a salon as a receptionist while I was also taking classes at City College of San Francisco. And one day I was sitting at my desk at work and I just had an epiphany. I was just thinking to myself, why am I here and what is this doing for my life ultimately to lead me to where I want to be? And so I decided to resign from that job and to apply to BAVC. I had applied before a few weeks ago or like a year ago or so. But I was going through some mental health issues and I allowed that to, get in my head and make me overthink the process, and I didn't end up going. So I decided I love filmmaking, I should give it my all. And so I decided to reapply into the program, and here I am now. Next slide, please. So the main takeaways that I have from BAVC is the importance of vulnerability. I'm someone who has in the past been very afraid to show my work out of fear of disappointment in myself and the critiques that I might receive from others. But you can't grow unless you allow yourself to be exposed. And that's one of the wonderful things about this cohort is from day one, we've all been able to be very vulnerable with each other. And another thing for me is that people of color, we need more representation in media and storytelling. I don't want to see the same stories about people of color that I live through every day that are triggering. I want to see people that look like me, that look like us, in our natural lives, you know? And that starts with us. And so that's why I'm so happy to be in this cohort, because it's filled with all shades of the rainbow. And, you know, we're giving it our all, and it's beautiful. Next slide, please. Ooh, bad text color. You probably can't read that. But the title of my film is called The Window Out. And it is a documentary series that explores the effects of creative and artistic expression on mental health. Like I've said, I've been somebody who's been hugely affected by mental health, and so I'd love to see it normalized, and I'm hoping that this piece will do that. It's a series, and so the first part is on my best friend Abdullah Magoob, a person of color who is a professional swimmer. With that being said, I hope you enjoy it.
And then you can do these push-ups too, where they're hella low. I'm gonna show you.
Well, you trying to do the other thing first?
Yeah.
Again?
Yeah, that again?
Yeah. I just want to get a better shot of you first getting up.
Also, when you get to the point where you're like at a 90-degree angle, can you hold it for a little bit?
What do you mean, like when I'm like holding like this?
And when you're upside down, can you let go of the thing and just levitate for a little bit?
I need you to like.
Where I'm hanging, my arms are hanging, I'm like this.
Your arms are hanging, yes, and you're like sitting.
That shit is hard, bro. I got you.
As long as you can.
This boy don't understand.
It's like,
let me take my shoes off. That's what I'm saying. It's
okay, yeah, you can take your shoes off.
It's way lighter.
Yeah, no, it's good.
If I step in the shit, then it is what it is. I'm a shithead anyway.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Possible because it's really clean,
bro.
Can you levitate a little bit?
This part's pretty hard. Right there.
The strength is crazy, bro.
Oh my god.
The strength is.
I look good in the arms.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
The strength is.
Oh my god.
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 That's how you do this.
Oh my
The
god.
forearms.
Oh my god.
Giving out. Yeah. Probably do that probably like
Jeez, that was
8 to 9 rounds. Yeah.
Jesus.
Very tiring. It's not fun.
Jeez, that was
It is what it is. It is what it is. My name is Abdullah Magoob. Call me Adu. No, all my homies call me Adu, but I'm from Oakland, California, East Oakland, California, 98th and D Street to be specific. I like to title myself as a swimmer, I guess supposedly, but I think I'm more than that, than just a swimmer. But what I do for a living, of course, is swim. Started swimming when I was about 4. It was at Castlemont High School. My dad, I remember I was so scared to get in the water. I remember my biggest fear, I hated swimming. Like everything about it. Like I remember hated baths. Like it was just weird. Like I just didn't really like the water. And I remember my dad just looks at me and just picks me up and throws me in the water. He goes, figure out how to swim like the water. I was about 3 feet water. I was 4 feet tall, of course, so I could stand. But it was definitely that was the reason why I started swimming. I mean, it was a special moment because it helped me overcome my biggest fear.
When you were growing up, did your family ever talk to you about mental health? Did you even know what that was as a kid?
No. Nope. My freshman year of college, it was like my sophomore year of college, actually my second year of college, I had torn my Achilles tendon, and I remember just like everything just hitting me then. I had lost 5 different scholarships to 5 different schools. They were all Division I. I lost 3 Division II scholarships. I remember being in my room just not wanting to do shit. I didn't want to eat. I didn't even want to fucking sleep.